You know, it's okay. It clears right away. I know what to do. But I tell you, oh boy, every time you try to go for a moment, it fucks it up. Anyway, today we're gonna talk about Mars in Virgo, part 2. And we're gonna jump right in. Now, I had left off that Mars in Virgo can be very complicated and very indirect. That's about the worst of it. But we're going to jump in right now and we're going to talk about Mars in Virgo as it pertains to the human male. And I might throw twinklers here and there concerning the female and general characteristics. Please donate at my paypal.me/the people's astrologer for content. And I hope you're able to, on the 17th of August, come to my seminar on how to use a horoscope or a birth chart in a practical, non-theoretical way where you can actually see tangible results. And I'm going to be focusing on cycles. I've never discussed cycles on YouTube concerning astrology. And there are specific cycles that can bring about things in your life that if you know, you will avoid making mistakes and making things that can actually change and alter your life in a bad way. This is stuff that the rich and the millionaires and the heads of states pay astrologers good money for. That kind of information, that I've never discussed that with you on YouTube. Because, but people of the higher level of society, they know what the horoscope is and how to properly use it. So, but in a way, I'm giving you a lot of the keys by doing these series. Okay? So we're going to jump right in and discuss the male. Again, I have some people who have paid me for birth charts who have not called me back, and I have not heard from. So please, whenever you're ready, you call me whenever you feel psychologically ready. You come and take my courses, and of course, we have the classes on astrology, so you can enroll. Just contact me if you're interested in taking my courses in astrology. Mars in Virgo. Let's jump right in. The Mars in Virgo man. And let me tell you, the Mars in Virgo man is interested in one thing and one thing only: work. He wants nothing more, nothing less. And in the work, there has to be, it's competitive, to say the least. Competitive. These people with Mars and Virgo, the men, are very, very competitive in their work. Oh my God. I'm going to take a trick on this one. The Mars in Virgo man, when it comes to work, can be an asshole. The woman with Mars in Virgo can be a real bitch, especially if she's the boss. I had a woman with Mars in Virgo, and she was my boss. We fought like cats and dogs. We fought like cats and dogs. Eventually, I got her fired, and I took over the position because I was more competent. Even though she wasn't a Virgo, but she was smart enough. but she did not know how to manage people. Virgos are excellent followers. They don't do well being bosses. They don't know how to calibrate a balance, and they can be abusive to their subordinates. Mars and Virgo, be careful. Mars and Virgo can be very, well, I mentioned it in part one, right? Very critical. Very critical, especially the woman. The man will not be critical. He'll be cruel with his actions. He'll talk to you once, he'll fire you the second time. There won't be a third, because then that's a waste of time. So let me save some time. Let me not let it get to a third try. Let me just fire you in the second try. Ruthless, like Capricorn, the devil. hmm You have to understand that these men want to win in their work. Now, understand that because we're dealing in a patriarchal society, even though we are slightly moving away from it, man is defined by his work, not by his looks, by his style, or what he's packing between his legs, or by, even though in the pop subculture it is, but in the mainstream of human necessity and achievement, men reign supreme in the workplace. Man is not supposed to be a man in the kitchen or even doing work in the yard, the backyard, which is typically a male thing to do. But then again, it kind of is, because a man is constantly doing. Men really symbolize the energy of Mars. Man gets up, goes to work. The woman does too, you know. Men works from sunrise to sunset, but a woman's work is never done. You've heard that. But here we have to look at the fact that that is true. But as quiet as it's kept, the woman is always working 24/7, even when she's asleep. She's ready to jump. You know, the Mars in Virgo man, not at all. The psychology that drives the Mars in Virgo man is that of responsibility, like the Capricorn man, and execution of will, which has a lot to do with Leo and the inner sun, the inner will. So if a man is out of a job and he's got Mars in Virgo, you're going to be looking at one angry, depressed motherfucker. And he ain't gonna be happy until he has a job. Because without that job, he's not a man. He's less of a man. This is Mars in Virgo in a man's chart. It's about definition. A man is defined by his work. Well, that's what men have chosen to be defined as. We don't have to be defined by our work or by our performance in the bedroom. There's more to men than just work and being efficient in the sack. There's an in between, but that in between has not been nurtured or fostered into development of our own doing, not even our own educational institutions. And God knows the church does not teach men how to embrace the inner feminine within them that will balance the energy of Mars within us as men. But that's not the culture, especially in the West. You know, this patriarchal setup that's slowly coming to an end, thank God, has really disenfranchised the male. And I have a call coming through. Hello, I'm on the air doing part two of Mars in Virgo. Who is this? Yes, you're on the air, so when you see part two, you're going to hear yourself me talking to you on the air. Can you call me back in 15 minutes when I'm done with the video of Mars and Virgo part two? And thank you so much for calling me. I can't wait to talk to you. Bye. All right. So, uh, uh, so let's begin by discussing that. Okay? They are very competitive. And the man with Mars and Virgo in the home is going to be very different than the Mars and Virgo man at work. You literally, for you ladies and a few gents who have a man who has Mars and Virgo, you need to do an experiment. Go to his job and don't let him know that you're there. Ask permission from where you have to ask permission to go in and observe him at his work. He's a different human being than he is at work or outside of the workplace. He might be sweet, timid, shy, a loner, non-communicative at home. Not say a word. You call him out to have dinner. He comes out on his boxers. If there's people, he'll dress modestly. He'll excuse himself after dinner. And then maybe go to bed early. You know, very Virgo. Mars in Virgo mimics the sun sign Virgo. Very Virgo. But when he gets to go to work and you see him at work, he is a terror. He's worse than Capricorn, the devil, right? He can be, ooh, ooh, misery. He can bring misery to those around him. Is it because he wants to be an asshole or he wants to make your life miserable? No. He could really care about your feelings when it comes to the task at hand. Don't bring emotion to the workplace. If you're dealing with a boss with Mars and Virgo, he might decide that he doesn't like you and may fire you or seek to have you fired. Because Virgo does not like emotions. So it's honest to say that emotional people around these types of men with Mars and Virgo will irritate them. He will treat them, mistreat them, or treat them with contempt. And they might not be aware that they're doing this deliberately. They might be working outside of their own awareness. Remember, the opposite polarity of Virgo is Pisces, the subconscious. So Virgo may be doing things that he's not consciously, the ego is not consciously aware of what he's doing or how he's affecting others. Mars in Virgo, remember, is the sign of the sadomasochist. Virgo in Pisces. And Mars is the god of war, the inflictor of pain. So Mars in Virgo, with the man's chart, can make him worse than Capricorn and worse than Scorpio. He will definitely criticize you. He will definitely criticize you. And if you're a man, he might attack your position as a man in the function of workable society and make you feel inadequate. Make you feel less of a man because you're not fulfilling your role. You know? He's very methodical and pragmatic, and he doesn't take apologies. He truly is, he is an iron fist. He rules and can be very bigoted about it. Let me tell you, Mars and Virgo men make excellent followers, terrible leaders. Terrible leaders. Because they don't know the art of dealing with people, managing people. You know, it's an art to manage people. You just don't get up one day and run a 30, 40, 50 man operation company where you have to manage people. People come with their own egos and their own shit. And Virgo doesn't fit the bill to manage people and their needs and have them function in a cohesive wholeness that will get the job done according to how the Martin Virgo person wants it. He will never succeed at that kind of cooperation. That job belongs to Libra, cardinal air. She's assigned that responsibility. Virgo does not fit that responsibility and is not very good at it. For the exception of those Virgos who have evolved up Jacob's ladder, and Virgos that we've only had maybe 2 or 3 Virgo presidents. We, if you see a man who's a boss or head of something and it's a Virgo, then understand that he may, or but he may have not, but he may have fulfilled the requirements of what is required to do the task at hand for many lifetimes in relations to dealing with people or communicating with people or managing people. So Virgos that are bosses and are in top positions and head companies and manage people do believe that these people have gone around in revolution many lifetimes to have learned the art of managing, which means that these Virgos have been Libras before in other lifetimes. And they're coming back as Virgos to help humanity with the skills of having been Libra in past lives, in which now they can fuse these talents and gifts, and they can now be heads of companies and corporations and effectively and efficiently manage people. Those types of Virgos and those types of positions have been here before and have been throughout the entire zodiac wheel, perfecting every sign of the zodiac. And now they reincarnate in a particular sign to their particular task. And Virgo is the job of the healer, the doctor, the nurse, So having learned all the skills of all the signs of the zodiac, now as a Virgo, you're equipped to reincarnate, come back, and be very, very helpful. Because now you have the knowledge of all the 12 signs of the zodiac, including that of Virgo. And that explains why you have Virgos that are in top positions, managerial positions, managing people, making millions of dollars, and those that are in between and those that are not. So, in spirit of talking in this respect, the Mars and Virgo person, yes, without a doubt, an excellent worker. They have an eye for detail, and they are very thorough. They are clean, neat, organized by nature. Mars and Virgos can be a nag though, and they can criticize you, like I mentioned with the Mars and Virgo woman, endlessly. Okay, to the point where they can see the faults in people that often other people overlook or miss altogether. I remember I was working for somebody, and we were friends. He was the boss. He was a Virgo. We were fellow Virgos. And this guy came in, handsome dude, well dressed, very dapper, a Libra, smell nice. He was just handsome and lovely. And I said to myself, we need that in this business because his cosmetics can bring in the women. That's what I was thinking. The resume was excellent. The interview was flawless. I didn't see anything wrong with the dude. My friend, pineapple martini. My buddy didn't hire him. When I asked him, why didn't you hire him? The man is perfect. And then the person that he did choose was not as cosmetic as the other one. And we ended up having to fire that person and find another one 6 months later. put us in the hole because we didn't have a personnel to cover that position. Let me tell you why he didn't hire him. And his index finger, he had dirt underneath his fingernail. All the other fingernails were clean. He had dirt underneath the last fingernail. And he did not hire him because of that small little detail. Now the guy could have done this. Guys, we don't wash our hair as frequently as women do. Might pick up little particles here and there. The guy was clean. I would have hired him and then brought it to his attention. But the Mars in Virgo person did not hire him because he found dirt underneath one finger nail. That's how much of a bitch or an asshole Mars in Virgo can be. That kind of particular detail fastidiousness the man in Virgo brings to his personal life, to his intimate, romantic life. The way he treated that man is the way he will treat his women. His girlfriend, his wife, his daughters, anybody. Nobody is spared of the magnifying glass of Virgo. And that can fuck up Virgo. That can fuck up Virgo. You know? If you're beautiful and appealing and attractive, and then you are critical like that, no matter how beautiful looking or attractive you are, you're going to appear ugly to that person. Because now you expressed an ugly trait. Criticism is necessary because it helps us improve. But when it's taken out of hand or out of context, it can be a poisonous cancer. And God forbid that the man comes across an insecure, unevolved human being, which is natural for people below age 30, and meets a man like that. That man can crush, destroy this person's dreams or aspirations before it even gets started. Men with Mars in Virgo feel inadequate. They feel a deep-seated inadequacy about them. They feel impotent as men. They feel ineffectual. They feel like they are inappropriate or inappropriately casted. They feel at odds with themselves. They may not like or love themselves. And in the same way that they see themselves, they will project that onto others. And this is the heart of the sadomasochistic pathology that exists with this polarity of Mars, of Virgo, and Pisces. Again, Tito Rodriguez, Cha Cha Cha. I love it. The music just, again, this is the Venus in Leo in me. Everything has to be just like magical inside my head. So then the ethers can connect and give the knowledge necessary for the particular segment that I'm doing. It's weird, I know. I can explain it. But it really seems to work. Now, like I mentioned, they have an eye for detail and thorough. Good. We covered that. Cleaning, blah, 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 blah. They're also very interested, strongly interested, just like the female with Mars in Virgo, concerning health and hygiene. Hypochondriac syndrome is a Virgo anomaly. And to have Mars in Virgo can make you very hypochondriacal. Hypochondriac, very hypochondriac. To the point where it can be debilitating or carping. Now, certain phobias and certain physical anomalies, like over compulsive disorder, washing your hands, washing your finger, or cleaning. These compulsion disorders falls under Mars in Virgo. So you'll understand. So if you have some kind of compulsive disorder or a routine that you do constantly, no, Virgo, that's Mars in Virgo. That is a Virgo manifestation because the nervous system gets touched. And because men are not taught to express themselves emotionally, this Mars in Virgo man, regardless of the sign that he is, can actually cause health issues, health problems. One of them, which medical science is now beginning to discover, is problems with the thyroid. The thyroid, hypothyroidism, or the opposite of hypothyroidism. Now, thyroid has many ways of manifesting as a disease, or there are many thyroid-related disorders. And the man with Mars in Virgo, and the research has been done, suffers a lot of disorders. Irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, uh, what is it? Pelvic inflammatory disease, acid reflux disease, compulsive disorders. Compulsion. So Mars in Virgo, we see this manifesting with the men with Mars in Virgo more than we see it with the female. But the female with Mars in Virgo that is going through these types of difficult phases will more likely seek therapy or help. And the man with the same condition will not. Because again, in our patriarchal setup, man is not allowed to express his feelings, his emotions, or even talk about what's bothering him. Not even to his wife or girlfriend. It's fucked up, the setup. No wonder women outlive men. No wonder women outlive us. There's so much restraint that's put on us as men in our patriarchal setup that there's no room to breathe. Breathe as men. So much is put on us with no emotional reward, which is necessary for emotional, psychosocial, psycho-emotional development and adjustment. And sometimes these conditions are not present with the person born with Mars in Virgo. I know. And I went 28 minutes. I'm past Virgo. Mars and Virgos, I'm gonna have to end. I left a little extra minutes because I gave announcements. But for to know more about Mars and Virgos, and if you happen to have Mars and Virgo, you will have to be charted. I can't discuss anymore. Here, the ego reaches its highest complexity. There's a lot more to say about this combination, but I'm only contracted to do 25 minutes. You will have to pay for the rest and a personal consultation if this is the signature that's in your chart. So, without further ado, thank you, and we're done with part 2.